President Ruto, as you speak about the Nyota Fund, also speak about the billions unaccounted for from the housing levy. Because before we move forward with Nyota Fund, we must understand where our billions from affordable housing have gone. Niaje tuanze na history affordable housing. The housing levy deductions began in 2023. At the time, Housing PS Charles Hinga promised Kenyans that the levy would raise about 80 billion kila mwaka to build 250,000 housing units every year. Meaning the average cost of constructing one housing unit ilikuwa 320,000. Now, almost 3 years later, Kenyans have contributed about 240 billion to the housing levy. So the question is, how many housing units have been completed and handed over to Kenyans? Because as per public available figures, only about 5,000 units ndio zimekuwa finished and given to Kenyans. Sasa hapa ndio kizungumkuti iko. If 240 billion has been collected and only 5,000 houses have been completed and handed over, inamaanisha nyumba moja cost about 48 million to build. Kusema ukweli, umeona wapi affordable housing that looks like it cost 48 million to build? President Ruto, where have the billions you have contributed since 2023 gone? Because, Mr. President, your administration promised 250,000 housing units every year, and in 3 years, we would have been at 750,000 housing units constructed, completed, and handed over to Kenyans. But what Kenyans can clearly see today is about 5,000 housing units, which means that Kenyans are yet to receive 745,000 housing units that we've already paid for. So, if one housing unit was to cost about 320,000 to construct, the total amount of constructing the 5,000 housing units is about 1.6 billion Kenya shillings. So the question Kenyans are asking is this: where has the 238.4 billion Kenya shillings gone? That is the balance that remains when you subtract the 240 billion housing levy collected minus the 1.6 billion spent on constructing the 5,000 housing units. President Ruto, this is why, as much as I strongly support youth empowerment, bado niko na tashwishi about Nyota Fund. Because when large amounts are involved without transparency and accountability, damu yangu inachemka, haituli. And that is why, as we discuss the Nyota Fund and the proposed 5 trillion infrastructure fund, I'm asking for clarity early enough. Bwana Rais, tafakari ya Kabala.